let's talk about Vice President Biden. Meeting with Biden has been called a game changer. Elizabeth Warren has met with him. So why is this so significant?
Well, I'm not quite sure it's as significant as portrayed. Look, if Joe Biden decides to run for this race and Elizabeth Warren, let's just say for the sake of argument, supports him, that helps a little. But Joe Biden's path to the nomination is still intensely difficult, absent a collapse of the Hillary Clinton campaign. Why? Because Hillary Clinton has, for all of her problems of recent vintage, assembled teams in every key state, has her own 2007-2008 campaign organization, has added to it many people who worked in the Obama campaigns of the same year, 2007, 2008, and the re-election campaign of 2012. Now, there would have to be an implosion of not only that organization, but all the donors who have so far supported Hillary Clinton. And if there is an implosion of that magnitude, Joe Biden would not be the only Democrat entering this race. I guarantee you. There is plenty of ambition in the Democratic Party. And if Hillary Clinton does fall apart, other Democrats will jump in. So I sort of view this whole Biden thing as being viewed through a prism of expectation, that if Biden jumps in, everything changes. If Biden jumps in, yes, everything has changed, but he will not be the only agent of change.
Major, I'm just curious, what is the feeling, though, obviously, in the White House with Joe Biden potentially jumping into the race? I imagine, obviously, there's a lot of emotion attached to his possible candidacy.
Well, let's just say this. The White House has thought that Joe Biden had overarching political ambitions since he beat the president to the punch on endorsing gay marriage. When Joe Biden did that, just before the president made that announcement, there was a sense in the Obama White House that Biden was still looking at his potential political future because he jumped ahead of the president on a key issue that he knew would have political resonance long after that issue had been resolved by both he and the president. So many in the Obama White House have always, or since then for sure, said to themselves, Biden is keeping all of his political options open, has never ruled anything out, and is watching the Hillary Clinton campaign go through a very tough summer. If Joe Biden enters, he will have his own campaign problems to deal with. Among them, and this is only one, Joe Biden is not a proven vote getter, folks. He just isn't. I covered the campaign in 2007 and 2008. He was awful in Iowa. I mean, awful. He came in 5th, okay? Gave great speeches, but did not develop any traction at all. So that is a real relevant part of Joe Biden's theoretical popularity. He's great on paper. He's not as nearly as persuasive in the clutch, if you will.
Caitlin, to Major's point, over the weekend, the Des Moines Register put out an editorial criticizing Hillary Clinton's handling of the email scandal. And reportedly, there are some key Clinton donors that are perhaps looking to jump ship. Now, as Major points out, that doesn't necessarily mean that that would all go to Biden, but it could go to some of the other candidates who are potentially weighing a decision to run.
Well, the criticism of Hillary Clinton's handling of this is that this whole issue is of her own making, the private server and all of that. And when she came out to discuss, what happened a couple of months ago, she really didn't get into what we're seeing now. And so the campaign has had to release, different videos explaining, and it kind of gets, further and further into the weeds. And then in the meantime, you're seeing these headlines of, Department of Justice, questions about criminal activity, and all of that. And critics say that this is something that she created herself. It could have been avoided. It could have been better explained, addressed in the early going. And so I think you might start to see, that's why we're starting to see some interest in other candidates. But to Major's point, I mean, there's not a real huge difference between Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. It's not like a Bernie Sanders who's running on a different kind of message, or even, Martin O'Malley or some of these others that are running on a different message. There's little daylight in terms of policy. And we've seen Hillary Clinton really embrace a lot of the president's policies in this administration as well. So that's, it's hard to kind of get in between that, I think.
We're going to keep watching. Chief White House Correspondent Major Garrett and Caitlin Huey-Burns from Real Clear Politics. Thank you both very much.